Hi everyone, welcome back to Be Rich. As you see, Kesav is missing in action. He's got some pressing matters happening at home, so he's gone to deal with that. And Anand is also not in the studio, so I reeled in Shashwat, who's come on a break. I told him, give me 5 minutes. So Shashwat's been kind enough to come inside the studio. He has some interesting things to talk about and to reflect on. Hope you guys find this video interesting. So without any further delay, let me jump in with Shashwat. Hi Shashwat, what do you have for us today?
Yeah, so I basically wanted to talk about some interesting data which has come out.
Sure.
So it's basically a theory, but then we can discuss it and see how far it goes.
True. That's
But
true.
yeah, so we both know that interest rates have been hiking in the US for a bit now.
Yes.
So when interest rates hike, you know that bond prices take tank, that is bonds which were issued before.
True.
And you have newer bonds which are treasuries which are issued at the higher interest rate, and the previous ones match up to that.
True.
So what's been happening is that short-term treasuries, that is from the 1 year to 2 year treasury maturities, what has been happening is pension funds, and not just pension funds but other funds, have been capitalizing on that because they don't know how far the rate rises will go, in the sense whether Powell will stick to it, and whether rate rises will go any further or whether it will cut down. So what they've been doing is they've been dumping all the other assets and loading up on treasury securities, short-term treasury securities. Basically, the idea being that you ride out the wave for the next 2 years to see where inflation stands, whether it's entrenched and whatnot. So coming to that, what has happened is that 2 year treasuries have hit an all-time low in terms of yield in the recent past. Not all-time low, but rather recent past, it's hit a low. And the question now is how are, or rather, whether inflation is entrenched and whether interest rates will have to be increased further in the future, because now they've slowed down rate hikes to 0.25 basis points, and wages have been increasing at a pace outpacing inflation, in the sense that companies have been increasing wages faster than inflation is rising. So, and spending has also been increasing at a pace faster than inflation, which is an enigma because we don't know why that's happening. There are a few theories for that. So what do you think about that?
I agree with you. What all you're saying is a conundrum for as an investor to worry about.
Yeah.
Because what's happening is all asset classes are losing value.
Yeah.
Okay. Because of the interest rate hike, whatever investments you have made is getting hammered.
Yeah.
And inflation doesn't seem like it's given up its steam as yet.
Yeah.
And no one can predict what Powell is going to do, because even Powell doesn't know what he's going to do.
Yeah.
Each day he is getting up in the morning. I'm sure he's looking out of his window
Yeah.
at whatever birds and bees, and he's wondering what to do today
Yeah. But
before he drinks his morning coffee. And there's three ways it can go. One, like you said, he can continue raising the rates.
yeah.
Two, he can hold the rates. We don't know how long he'll hold it for.
Yeah.
Three is what the market is hoping he's going to start doing is they start taking a U-turn and start stepping down.
Yeah.
To be honest, I don't think three will happen anytime soon.
Yeah.
Yes, eventually rates will come down
Yeah.
because nothing stays where it is forever. It will cool off, and for reasons other than this, could be because of Chinese and Russian aggression or whatever reasons. Global situation may be such that he needs to drop the rates to pump some cash into the economy.
Yeah.
So he's got that leeway. He may do that, but more likely, I think, more than raising the rates, he might hold for a little while here, is what I feel.
Yeah.
And even if he's holding here, the pain is going to be immense. Because what's happened is, like you rightly said, people have assumed that we'll be at these zero interest rates forever and ever.
Yeah.
So lots of us have consumed these bonds.
Yeah.
These low yielding bonds we have consumed.
Yeah. SVB
Yes.
had 55% of its
Yeah.
assets.
And like what Anand said is true is, as a bond holder, you don't lose any money.
Yeah.
If you wait out a bond, how much ever it is, you bought like a
finally
10
get
year
your
bond, 30
principal
year
back.
bond.
Yeah.
You sit and wait it out, you'll get your interest and you'll get your principal back. You're
Yes.
not lost anything.
Yes.
If you're trying to trade into the bond,
That's
or
where
you're
you-
forced into selling the bond, let's say there immense pressure on you, liquid pressure on you, that you
Yeah.
need liquidity back,
Yeah.
and that pressure is on you, then you'll have to be forced into selling these bonds at a discount.
Correct. You have
Because
to
there are
realize the
better
loss.
bonds in the market, so
Yeah.
people want the better bonds. The only reason they'll take you is if that
You match
better
that.
price index
Yeah.
percentage is factored in by lowering your price.
Yes.
So all this put together, as an investor, I would agree with what Anand keeps saying. Right now, in this current scenario, cash is king.
Yeah.
Hold on to your cash.
Yeah.
If you have cash, sit on it.
Yeah.
Wait till this kind of plays out. There's no urgency.
Yeah.
Especially people at your age level, there's no urgency.
Yeah.
You can actually have some risk because you have enough time to recover from any seismic shock that happens because
Yeah.
you have enough time. So I would say wait.
Yeah.
If you are in debt and you're under enormous pressure financially and there's no job security, then I'll say liquidate. Don't think the position is going to get better and then maybe I should liquidate a day earlier and make that 1%, 0.5% extra. Doesn't matter. Liquidate now. Whatever it is, cut your losses now.
Yeah.
And get rid of your debt. That would be my advice. Other than that, there's nothing else more you can do as an investor.
Yeah.
You will have to see where you can play. If you have assets which are depressed right now because of the current rate hikes and you have no choice, it's better to sit.
Yeah.
Sit tight. Unless you have to take the loss. This is my advice, broadly speaking, wherever you are in the world. Because right now, dollar is king. As much
Yeah.
as we like to think this BRIC currency is there,
No,
the Chinese yuan is happening, none of them have a fighting chance against the US dollar right now.
Yeah. That's true.
So it is all hope. Whatever people are talking, it's their hope and their anger and their fear. It's all bubbling up and they're talking in all different ways. As of now, there is no change in the paradigm.
There's a good tweet which Taleb put out. He said, unless you see people lining up outside the Chinese and Russian embassy to immigrate there, you won't have a new reserve currency for the world.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's the same thing Anand said. And Anand said it very nicely. He said all that US has to do, which China cannot do and Russia cannot do. So if the US has any labor shortage or any problem, just have to open the
Borders. Yeah.
Everyone still, people who are sitting in India right now saying, I hate US, I hate US. The minute US says, okay, boss, anybody and everybody can come along, those guys will also definitely go to US.
Yeah.
And the reason they go to US is one fundamental reason. It's not just because of the dollar. It's not because some super life is there. It is just simply that there's a perception that democracy is far fairer than autocracy.
Right.
The problem with any dictator, communism and all this is, as a normal common citizen, a normal middle class man or a woman, you don't feel that you have any voice.
Yeah.
At least in the US, in the democratic system, you are given an impression of having a voice. I'm sure a lot of people argue saying, no, you don't have a voice there. But at least in paper, the legal system works.
Yeah.
So what were we saying? So the US, the perception is the legal system works, you have a voice, and there's some kind of transparency.
Yeah.
That is lacking in China, and there's lacking in Russia,
Yes.
and there's lacking even in our own India in certain extent. Certain places, people are feeling disenfranchised. It's completely lacking in Brazil. You saw the turmoil it went through.
Yeah.
And South Africa also we can talk about. These are the main countries of BRICS.
Correct. One
Of these countries are holding a torchlight. Holding the flame for humanity, saying we are the hope, we are the future. They're not feeling it.
Even Israel is going through its own fair share.
Yes, and you see what's happening in Europe.
Yeah.
Europe is in a mess.
Yeah.
France is in a mess.
Yeah.
All across Europe, the newer, younger democracies such as Hungary and all that are in a mess. So the places everywhere, there's no refuge for people who are educated, who just want some peace and quiet, and they're ready to do some diligent work. US is offering that.
Yeah.
We may say whatever we want, but out of all, everybody compared. Yes, there's a gun problem, gun violence and everything, media's. But if you talk to any normal American, like any of your friends or relatives who are there, they're all happy. So many of them have gone there. I know many of my friends who have been there since school times. Nobody's been shot. Nobody has been mugged or ambushed,
Yeah.
which is pretty good when you take the population size of our sample.
Yeah.
So yes, there is lots of things, but overall this is the main reason why there's not going to be any shift, like Taleb said.
Yeah.
This can only happen if suddenly overnight Xi Jinping decides to become very liberal and very democratic. And very free, and he decides to keep the Chinese currency free float.
But that's the end of Xi Jinping then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His only way to control power is to grip it.
Yeah.
He's holding it with iron grip.
Yes.
Even provinces cannot decide to change one light bulb without it being sanctioned by him.
Yeah.
So where's the question of that happening? Then you take Putin.
And they hammered away at that zero COVID policy and really doomed their own growth.
Yes. But everyone can make a mistake.
Yeah.
But when you make a mistake, the corrective step to do is admit you made a mistake and then see what you can do.
Yeah.
But no point does he want to ever say because he feels it's a loss of face.
Yes.
I am sure by and large, Chinese population, majority of them will still support him if he just came out and said, okay, we made a mistake, we could have done it better.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
let me see what we can do better. If he said, the people, Chinese people are very loyal. They've been loyal to the Communist Party for so long. They said, okay, it was an aberration and something bad happened. But he doubled down on it.
Yeah. You don't even have to admit it's a mistake. Just phase it out.
Yeah.
Say we've defeated COVID.
Correct. Do whatever,
Yeah.
but not double down on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Same thing with Putin. He had a certain idea and a vision when he walked into Ukraine.
He said 10 days and we'll be through.
Yes. He thought just building up the army next to the border will scare them.
Yeah.
You know, and he thought once he does this to Ukraine, all other guys will fall into line, the bordering countries, none of them will join NATO.
Yeah.
Everything has failed spectacularly.
Yeah.
But even now, it's not too late for him. All he has to do is, okay, we made a few mistakes. I made a few mistakes.
Yeah.
You know, it didn't plan out, it didn't go out the way we wanted. Okay, we made some victories, we had some victories. Talk in backdoor channels and, you know, move forward, but he won't.
Yeah.
And the problem in these hard line positions these guys have taken is they've taken it to the end game.
Yes. They're playing it out.
Yeah, it's not that the world has boxed him in. He's boxing himself in.
Yes.
While the rest of the world is trying to tell him because everyone's scared.
Yeah.
They don't want him to box himself in. Because if he feels like a man with no option, he might do anything then.
Yes.
So they always want to keep giving him options.
Yes.
Same thing is true with China. With Taiwan, they want to keep giving him options because they don't want these guys with these kind of weaponry they have in their disposal. They feel like they have no choice.
Yeah.
This is the world we live in. And as far as the economies of the world is concerned, everything runs on the dollar. Even the euro, which is the second largest reserve currency, you can say.
Yeah.
If it's not the dollar, the next one can only possibly be euro.
Euro, yeah.
If dollar is controlling 2/3 of the market, the remaining is controlled majority by euro.
Yes.
And you see the shape euro is in.
Yeah.
The European central banks,
Yeah.
they're struggling.
Yeah.
They got seriously hammered last year, where the euro was just like going all over the place.
Yeah.
So we don't know. And the European Union itself coalescing and staying together after this Brexit fiasco and this latest Ukraine fiasco, and the way they polarized within Europe on views of how society should be,
Yeah.
from liberal to autocratic, is all there in Europe right now. And everyone's vying for attention.
Yeah.
So I don't see any scope of any other currency coming.
And another thing about inflation is an interesting fact which came up was that profit margins for the S&P 500 index stocks haven't taken a dip in the sense that interest rates have been hiking. But so one statistic which is pointing towards this is that they've also increased costs beyond any reasonable doubt of passing on increasing wage and labor, in the sense that they're passing on costs more than what they need to.
Yeah.
And this is
called price gouging.
Yeah, and greedflation is what they're terming it.
Yes.
And they're basically trying to scoop up as much as they can get from this.
True.
But the question is, how are they able to do this in a high interest rate environment? So
Why not?
Yeah, but one theory is
Where's
that
Tim Cook going to discount his phones? He's launching the next iPhone 15 in a couple of months, and they're saying very proudly that from India, some of the models, lower-end models, are going to be shipped out of India. He's trying to pivot out of China. So where is he? Why he can easily the profit margin on Nike shoes?
yeah,
We have seen so many videos on YouTube, the famous videos. If you remove the cost of brand promotion
Yeah.
and sponsorship and the profit margin from a Nike shoe is very, very cheap to make in mass production and sell.
yeah.
They're just price gouging, and they've been doing it for years.
And
And this is the reason why S&P, because the profitability of these companies has been nothing but going up. And now that with oil, the way OPEC has decided to turn the tap a little bit tighter,
yeah.
all the oil companies are surging.
But the idea is that how are the people able to afford it still? And here the theory is that in COVID, whatever spending which they curtailed and their savings has basically ridden them through.
I'll tell you something,
Yeah.
It's like what Anand was saying the other day on this video, that you're looking at it as an economist,
Yeah.
but this is a social science. Majority of the poor people can't afford to buy a phone, cannot afford to have a data SIM, but all of them have. They'll forego their lunch, they'll forego paying children's school fees, but they will not forego buying the phone. Consumption is being built into our society now. And the amount of psychological pressure a human being goes through when he's not able to consume it, the peer pressure on him, which is mounted by society on him, by advertisement and peer pressure, it's so heavy, he'd rather die. So when it's like that, you're looking at the wrong way. It's got nothing to do with wage. People are not earning to survive. It's the other way around. It's like they're earning to buy the product. Sadly, that's how society is framed it right now. That's the place we are in. And with this influencers and social media punishing society, it is immense pressure on the lower income class and middle class to consume. There is no question of them investing, saving, or doing anything, getting rid of debt. If they want more debt so they can consume more.
The problem with more debt now, and there's an article in the Hindu which was recently published. We did the numbers in it, where if you take a 1 crore loan on, I think, whatever in floating interest rate which SBI offered, now that same loan will take you 100 years or something, some odd number to.
Yeah, we did a video on that.
Yeah,
exactly.
to
True.
pay.
Yeah.
So you're pretty much screwed if you take a loan now.
People are still buying houses.
Yeah, and let alone houses.
This is mathematical. What you're saying is very true.
Yeah.
What Anand said is very true. This is mathematical. It's like 1 + 1 is 2. There is no way to escape from it.
Yeah.
Okay? People are saying the comments like, no, this is only a transitionary thing. Like what they talk about this thing.
Yeah.
You said pension funds. To get over the 2-year transitionary, they're buying these short-term
But
bonds.
there is no long term.
See, when you're a pension fund, you don't have a road end point.
Yes.
You're going to live forever.
Yeah.
People who are participating in your pension fund may die and go, but the fund itself,
Keeps living.
Vanguard fund, is going to live forever.
And it has lived for decades and decades.
Yes, the problem what people don't realize, their life is finite.
Yes.
You have only 40, 50 years. There's no way you'll get rid of this loan.
Yeah. You will pass it on.
And this is consuming. And there's an immense pressure on children and young adults like you to buy this consumption. To see this, they sold this lifestyle that you have to buy a house, you have to buy a bike, you have to buy. Why? No one ever pauses to think why. And there's a very nice thing this guy talks in that book, Sapien book, where he says in the 1600s and the 1700s, society was actually the other way around. Rich people were the ones who were spending. The wealthy class of society was only 2%, 3%.
Yeah.
The nobles were spending money, throwing money away, while the poor were very frugal.
Yeah.
And they were saving. They had never spent. Okay, they were very frugal.
And that's the exact reason why they've been able to.
Wait.
Yeah.
Fast forward from 1700s, 1600s, you fast forward 300 years with all the advent of traveling and, the British Empire and the Raj and the Dutch company, East Indies company, and all this industrialization that happened. Now it's flipped, where the poor are constantly put on pressure to spend and not save, while the rich are all investors. You never see a rich man saying spend, rich man telling another rich man spend.
Yeah.
They're all saving. They're all investing. Investing is nothing but saving. So that's what they're doing. While they encourage the middle class and the lower income class, the poor are the ones who are spending. It's just shifted.
And the people who bailed out the South Sea bubble and the Bank of England and all of those were the majority of the population,
Correct.
who were peasants and farmers and your industrial workers. It was never the rich. The rich were the ones who got screwed.
Why is going back that back? The Silicon Valley Bank was bailed out for what reason? The American middle class is what's carrying the bill.
Yeah.
The American government is the middle class.
Yes.
Correct?
Yeah.
Who's carrying the bill? They're carrying the
They're
bill.
footing the
and
bill.
who's the ones who's being bailed out in Silicon Valley
The
Bank?
ultra rich.
Yeah. Who took their money and they gambled it.
Yeah.
See, when you're that rich and you're ready to gamble, you should be ready to take your losses.
But then you have the legislation on your side. The game's rigged. Yeah.
And it's like Obama says, these things are not perfect. So our laws are not perfect. Our constitutions are not perfect. Our society is not perfect. But we are constantly trying to change and alter ourselves towards a better place.
Yeah.
And that is a process is very messy. It is not a clean, we all wish it was a clean society and, we call this change the rules, we all agreed on it. But it isn't. It is very messy. It's a strange anomaly that in history that we have had such a prolonged moment of peace.
Yes.
If you take entirety of human history,
Always been 2 major wars every
maximum
century.
40, 50 years
Yeah.
before we get into a real skirmish.
Correct.
So it's really a black swan event.
Yeah.
The world has been this quiet for so long.
Yeah.
And it's been quiet for so long that a generation 2 has come into this existence. They just think this is normal, and it's not.
Yeah.
What is normal is us fighting most of the time.
Yeah.
We are all wondering, why are we fighting so much? question should be like, why weren't we fighting so much?
Yeah. You've had the world wars, you've had the Napoleonic wars, then
Yeah.
you've had the France versus England war. So every century we've had 2 major wars at least.
Correct.
Yeah.
So we are long overdue. Like they say, no, the earthquake is long overdue. Los Angeles for the big one.
Yeah.
Tokyo is due for the big one.
Yeah.
The world is due for human beings are due for a big fight.
Yeah.
I'm not a pessimist. I'm just being, it's a pattern which we've been going through.
But we can't afford another big one.
Yeah, because we have created these weapons
Yeah.
which can destroy the world 2 times over.
Yeah.
And we can't afford it.
There'd be no semblance of humanity after it.
Yeah. And nicely, we have taken the environmental issues to that extent too. If we don't do ourselves with our weapons of mass destruction, we've taken the environment to such a point where that will do us over.
Yeah.
This thing, what happened, the pandemic was predicted long ago.
Yeah.
Even before Bill Gates. Bill Gates is famous for it because he went around on TV telling everybody. But our scientific community has been saying this from the 1960s, 40s.
Yeah.
They've been saying it to the time of vaccine developing. We've been having these series of small pandemics happening.
Yeah.
Regional. Now the advent of world traveling, we're so interconnected, it just spreads very fast.
Yeah.
We don't have any rails on this. And we're told constantly that we must travel, we must do these things, we must consume. Before your life ends, you must travel the world.
Yeah.
They're told this.
Yeah.
For what?
And I mean, yeah, there's greedflation. It's not a question of inflation anymore.
No, it's not.
They're painting it as a picture of Powell being Superman fighting against this unknowable cause which is entrenched. But then it's being structured.
And I'll tell you, there's lots of unknowns in this whole equation which is happening.
Yeah.
Which is all happening at the same time. This whole advent of AI.
Yeah.
AI is going to come in. It's
Yes.
going to, yes, the people who are pro AI will say it will not just take away jobs. The people who are anti AI saying it will take away jobs.
Yeah.
So let's say pro AI it makes your life easier. That gives you more time, gives you more cash.
Yes.
So where is inflation going to go? It'll go back up.
Yeah.
So if you look at it in any way, it's not good.
Yeah. But the idea is that it cuts the cost for a lot of menial tasks.
It does.
Yeah.
But what I'm trying to say is, it's just not interest rate which is going to control inflation.
Yes.
There's lots of things which have to happen and come together for inflation to be controlled.
Your consumption, saving.
Exactly.
Yeah.
People need to decide not to consume so much.
As if you start, like how it happened with Japanese society, if everyone starts saving, inflation will vanish.
Correct.
Yeah.
But that kind of, you saw what Japan went through 1980s.
Yeah. Japan had to be hammered for them to like.
Correct. Now you just Japan.
Yeah.
So now you're talking about hammering the whole world.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And German power has to do that to America, which
Yeah.
is the country which is right now built on consumers.
They haven't been hammered since Volcker.
They
Yeah.
haven't.
Yeah.
I don't even know what a hammering is.
Yeah. I think it's 3 generations have been born since then.
Correct. And they're clueless.
Yeah.
So how, and they have a complete political class which is clueless.
The last
You see the young Republicans who are now in Congress,
Yeah.
in the House, they're all my age, a little older than me. They don't have a clue about it either.
Yeah.
They're sitting and they're talking nonsense.
Yeah.
Okay, they have a much bigger problem in the economy, and they're not even looking at it.
Yeah.
They're more worried about this showcase which is going on with Trump.
It's become a left versus right in terms of social ideas rather than economic ideas. Because economically speaking, then at least if you support Hayek, then support Hayek, or if you support Keynes, then
I
support.
won't even say it's idea, man, because
Yeah.
idea is something you think about and you formulate,
Yeah.
and there's some reasoning behind it.
Yeah.
This is more just like flash in the pan,
Yeah.
This is like pop culture stuff happening.
Yeah. I don't get what the obsession over abortion and like you have much bigger issues at hand which you should probably tackle before getting to social issues.
And even this whole Trump thing, him getting charged or whatever.
Yeah,
The
indicted.
legal system is very robust,
Yeah.
and he's going to have his day in court.
Yeah.
And as is now, he's being treated very fairly.
Yeah.
Okay, forget the question of should he be charged or not. That's irrelevant. It's been done.
Yeah.
Now that he's in the system, it's very transparent and it's very on board.
Yeah.
You're innocent till you're proven guilty. Get on with it. And
no
they
one's
have-
above the law.
Yeah, they have other things to worry about.
Yeah.
But sitting and worrying about a 70, 80-year-old man,
Yeah.
billionaire,
He's already done his damage.
yeah, and then saying give him money on TV. I don't know.
Yeah.
Wait, but that's where we are.
But yeah.
Anyway, this was an interesting conversation. We went a bit here and there. We started with inflation, we got into a bit of history, and we spoke about what's happening across the globe. But as an investor, it's time to sit and watch. And as Anand always says, cash is king. So if you have cash, sit on it. Don't be in a rush to go throw your money in anywhere.
The Nifty is slowly getting to fair value.
Yeah.
It's
coming.
at 20p. It was at 30p when in 2021.
True.
So we're getting there
But
slowly.
we still have to go a little bit more.
Yeah, definitely a lot more to go.
And like Anand says, once it reaches fair value, it will stay there for some time. Don't worry.
Yeah,
Don't panic thinking when it hits fair value, it will suddenly go back.
yeah. FOMO doesn't need to be a thing.
Yeah. So don't worry. And we always invest in individual stocks. We're not worried about the index in totality as an investor. We're looking for good bargains, and those are always there.
Yeah.
Even when the Nifty is up, the Nifty is down, bargains are always there for people who are willing to spend some time search. Thank you, Shashwat, for coming and joining us.
Yeah, thank you.
So if you like this video, please share and subscribe. Please turn on the bell notifications so you'll see new videos from Anand and Kesav when they're here. And if you did find this content interesting, please do share it and like it. And please tell us in the comments what you'd like to hear more from us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Today I want to tell you that I'm going to be in Singapore, and we are going to have an event on the 29th of April 2023. My team will let you know the location later as we come closer to the event. But the event is fixed on 29th at Singapore. Those who want to meet me in Singapore, either at the meeting or personally, can contact the WhatsApp number below or send a mail to the mail mentioned below. I will see you in Singapore. Once again, thank you for your support for Be Rich. It's a great privilege and honor that so many of you in thousands have subscribed to my channel and have supported me. I have written 2 books in English, The Alchemy of Money and Ordinary Stocks, Extraordinary Profits. These books are published by us and are ready. If you want to procure a copy, send us a message to the WhatsApp number given below and my team would respond to you. If you want an Amazon Kindle copy, you can click the link below. Finally, those who wish to consult with me can send a mail to berichenglish@gmail.com. Once again, I thank you for your support. If you like this video, press the subscribe button of my channel, hit the like button and turn on the bell notification.